Hello and welcome to TVC News this hour. President of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, earlier today addressed the nation with a plea to agitators to suspend a nationwide protest against hardship to pave way for his government's developmental plans to materialize. The president also commiserated with the families of those who died across some states of the nation, pleading with the youth to shun violence as solutions are being addressed. President Tinubu says before now, the nation was spending 97% of national resources on debt servicing, but his administration has decided to embark on policies and programs that will revamp the economy, ensure infrastructure development, job creation, and educational support for the youth for an improvement from previous national trends. He also announced the removal of tariffs for rice and wheat as part of measures to cushion the hardship associated with food availability.
We are providing incentives to farmers to increase food production at affordable. I have directed that tariffs and other import duties should be removed on rice, wheat, maize, sorghum, and drugs, and other pharmaceutical medical supplies for the next 6 months, in the first instance, to help drive down the prices. My dear Nigerians, especially our youths, I have heard you loud and clear. I understand the pain and the frustration that drive this protest, and I want to assure you that our government is committed to listening and addressing the concerns of our citizens. But we must not let violence and destruction tear our nation apart. We must work together to build a brighter future where every Nigerian can live with dignity and prosperity. The task before us is a collective one, and I am leading the charge as your president. A lot of work has gone into stabilizing our economy, and I must stay focused on ensuring that the benefits reached every single Nigerian as we promised. My administration is working very hard to improve and expand our national infrastructure and create more opportunities for our young people. Let nobody misinform and miseducate you about your country or tell you that your government does not care about you. Although there have been many dashes in the past, we are in a new era of renewed hope. We are working hard, and the result will soon be visible and concrete for everyone to see, feel, and enjoy. Let us work together to build a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come. Let's choose hope over fear, unity over division, and progress over stagnation. The economy, please, don't shut out this oxygen. Now that we have been enjoying democratic governance for 25 years, do not let the extremists of enemies of democracy use you to promote an unconstitutional agenda that will set us back on our democratic journey. Forward ever, backward never. I commiserate with the families and relations of those who have died in the protests. We must stop further bloodshed, violence, and destruction.
And for more on the president's nationwide broadcast, public affairs analyst Biodun Shomi joins me on the news this hour. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the news. The president says he has Nigerians loud and clear. How timely would you say this has come? And in terms of content. What stood out for you?
Well, the speech was well delivered by Mr. President. One clear thing which reflected is the fact that he empathized with the plight of the people. He accepted full responsibility for policies which he said are necessary to correct the decades-long defects in the economy, which has almost led the economy prostrate by the time he took over power. And he also sympathized with those who lost their lives and commiserate their families. But he, again, explained the fact that several steps have been taken which are beginning to yield the desired results, but not yet well manifested in daily living in terms of reduction in prices by experienced by Nigerians. I mean, particularly, he highlighted the areas of manufacturing sector, the intervention to the tune of ₦1 billion interest-free, loan to help manufacturers in order to increase productivity within the economy. They spoke about the small, medium enterprises, support being given. Also the nano industries, which many people know have benefited a lot from. He highlighted the investment in the IT sector, particularly targeted at the youth, to create employment, and which unfortunately one of them, the facilities has been destroyed in Kano, which will now cost a lot of money, to refix. And he mentioned the issue of transportation, particularly the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road, then Agbara, Badagry, Agbara to Sokoto Road, which in any case will open up many communities, open up new opportunities, not only in tourism, in cultural exchanges amongst the people, and facilitate trade within the country, which on its own will lead to increased prosperity. The president touched on the issue of the housing sector, how building thousands and hundreds of thousands of houses which are being planned are not necessarily just to create homes, but also to create employment in the construction sector, which again will lead to hundreds of thousands.
All right, Mr. Shombe. So he mentioned, it touched on a lot of issues, but more importantly, he also focused on, how much progress we have made as regards offloading or offsetting some of our foreign debts. But in terms of posturing and, how well this will be received, would you say this message resonated with the demands of the protesters? And perhaps this will propel them to go off the streets at this time?
Yes, I think if the protesters are looking for any way to get out of this situation we find ourselves in, out of this crisis, the president has provided the opportunity, because he has not only told us what they have been doing, which has not been put together, in the way and manner which Mr. President has delivered them currently. And many protesters would know that things are happening, things will still happen. The president is empathizing, he understands the situation, he feels the pain they feel, and therefore is likely going to accelerate efforts in in the programs of the government to redeem the situation. And the president, in any case, has called for patience. I'm sure within the next 6 months, 1 year, hopefully people will begin to see the fruits. But many protesters, largely many protesters, were peaceful protesters, would heed the call of Mr. President to exercise restraint and allow room for
for dialogue. So it's quite instructive. Like you also said, that the president took responsibility and also acknowledged the fact that the majority or the bulk of the work ends on his table. But this also brings to the fore major conversations that we have been having about having attention on the state and local governments and not just directly at the center. Perhaps this should be a great time for state governors, local government chairmen to also come out to talk to us about some of the moves made as regards cushioning the effects of the economic situation that we are having now.
Yes, this is quite very uncommon in Nigeria. The approach of Mr. President is not only acknowledging the fundamental rights of Nigerians, to protest, his belief in democracy, and also the right of the protection of protesters' lives. He highlighted all this. You can see it's not a gung-ho presidency, and is connected to the feelings of the people. And therefore, one would expect that state governors and local government chairmen will take a cue, from Mr. President and try and talk directly to the people, link up with the feelings of the people, link up with the desires of their communities, and put in place programs, that would affect people's life. Mr. President, this is quite very unusual. I think the closest we had to it was when Yaradua, the late President Yaradua, acknowledged the defects in the electoral process that brought him into power. But in this case, Mr. President has gone further, not only strengthening his belief in democracy, but his feeling, the fact that the president connected with the people and he understands the pains the people are going through. Many governors need, to convey that to their residents.
Absolutely. Mr. Shoumi, thank you for joining us. We hope that, the president's message is received well and the position of the government is not misconstrued. Public Affairs Analyst Biodun Shoumi, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.